Hey guys, it's me again. I am going to do a video on labels. I've had a lot of questions recently about labels and I decided that I was gonna do a little video. Let's start off with labeling myself. I label as a lesbian because I am going to marry a woman. Like, I know I'm going to marry a woman, but I also have this other label which I only tell certain people about. I can see a guy and be like, damn, you're hot, but like I will ultimately marry a woman because love my ladies. But yeah, so I have recently felt personal confusion with my sexuality, and I decided that I'm going to do I did some research and I did some personal interviews with some of my friends that are in the LGBTQIA, elemental PHAQ, whatever the letters are, community, and talked about it. First off, I want to say you don't need to label yourself. If you decide that you don't fit in any single category, that's okay. These are made for comfort. As humans, we have this need and this desire to label ourselves and put us in a category. Think of it like, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I don't play sports, I do play sports, I'm athletic, I'm not athletic. Like, we're always trying to find categories for ourselves, and a lot of people have this internal complexity mind fuck because they can't figure out who they are, and that's just not okay, and that's totally societal, and that's just what we grew up in. But there's bi-gendered, drag queen, boy, MTF, female, lesbian, dyke, asexual, gender neutral, demisexual, straight, femme, gay, FTM, MTF, queer, monosexual, and the list goes on. That's saying there is somewhere where someone falls on the line. If you have the need to feel this comfort with a label, because I know coming out and stuff is really hard, and one day we'll get to the point where we don't even have to come out anymore. But while we're here, it's hard to come up with a label for yourself sometimes, because you could be like, well, I like girls, but I also like to frick with boys, but I also really like this gender neutral friend that I have, and everyone thinks that it's this line of black and white where it's really a rainbow. So one thing that I like to tell people about is the Kinsey scale. Obviously there's flaws in this system, like people are saying that it doesn't acquire to all sexualities or asexuality as much, but there is a Kinsey scale where it's from 0 to 6, and 0 is strictly hetero and 6 is strictly homosexual. So we can fall in line in between there. This is to help people who may identify as cisgender and straight understand the spectrum a little bit better. And for ourselves who are trying to find a label. A few sexualities that I found online were pansexual, which means that all genders and sexes, you love them. You're gender blind. Demisexual, only accompanied by emotion, like you only have sex with people, or only sexually attracted to people who you are attracted to emotionally as well. And homo or hetero romantic, which is you only experience romance and not sexual attraction towards someone. And then there's asexual, where you have no sexual attraction at all. These are just labels that, other than the mainstream lesbian, gay, and bisexual, a lot of people don't hear these labels and they're like, well, I don't fall in any of those threes. But as I just said, there is endless list of labels if you want to identify with one. That being said, I would like to talk about the word queer. A lot of people have negative connotations towards the word queer because originally it meant weird, offbeat, not normal. as we know, language is constantly changing, and recently we have kind of made the word more of an umbrella term towards the LGBTQIA community. The word queer, it gets the entire spectrum under one. So sometimes I like to identify as queer because it's easier just to say that I'm queer rather than being like, well, I'm a lesbian, but this sometimes happens and this sometimes happens, but I don't really want that to happen. It's just easier to be like, I'm queer, and it's more of an umbrella term if you're more comfortable with that. But on the topic of labels, there's no right, wrong, in between for your label. You don't even need to label. As I said before, labeling yourself is a comfort zone, and I understand that. Like, a lot of people are like, well, you don't need to label as anything, but we as humans, and we always strive to fit in somewhere, and sometimes fitting in is easier when you have a label. Think of it as like Mean Girls. There's the lunch tables, right? There's the jocks, the cool kids, the cool Asians, and so on and so forth. It's easier when you can be like, oh, I can sit over there because I have a lot in common with them. I can sit over there because I have a lot in common with them. Or I probably shouldn't interact with them, but I probably would get along with them. Just go with the flow. Gender identity and sexual identity is super fluid, and I think being part of the community, a lot of people are just as fluid with it. I know there's some negative connotation towards like femme lesbians only liking butch lesbians and certain things with gay men, and I just feel like in a way we shouldn't have to worry about that. We as an LGBT community know that labels are so hard anyways, and people judge us so harshly anyways based outside of our community, that we shouldn't be putting this in our own community. This is our safe zone. This is where we connect. This is where we meet people, where we're accepted with our allies, you know, and we shouldn't be putting those pressures on each other. That's not fair, guys. So just be yourself. And as I gave you a list of labels, if you want to identify with labeling, do you. That's the most important thing that I can do. I strive to be myself and identify as what I want to do. And don't think about it too hard, because when you're thinking about it too hard, you're going to stress yourself out. Go with it. Who cares if other people are like, well, you just said you were lesbian. Why do you want to date with a guy? Oh, because he's hot. Just do it, okay? Or you just said you were gay. Why do you want to date with a girl? Because I really like her and she's really cool. Go with it. Don't worry about those other people. The only people important in your relationship are partner number 1, partner number 2, and whoever else is involved in your relationship, in your romantic or sexual relationship. But other than that, no one else matters, okay? So keep doing you guys. I will keep more videos up. If you have any suggestions or requests for videos, I think I have a few ideas for a few more, but and my GSA is also talking to me about doing a few more too, so please let me know if you have any ideas. Follow me on Tumblr. I post my link at the end, and stay true to you guys. Bye.